Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric, and I'm here to tell you the day has finally come. I am a very happy video game fan today, because in the history of mankind, there's been some inventions that absolutely just changed the world. A long time ago, cavemen figured out what to do with fire. At one point in time, a human being created the wheel. Steve Gutenberg invented the printing press, crawled into a cave, and then survived long enough to be in the Police Academy movies. And in 1903, the Miller Brewing Company invented Miller High Life. And now, adding to that pantheon of world-changing events, Bomberman Hero has been 100% recompiled for PC, making the greatest Bomberman game ever made and the greatest video game ever made called Bomberman Hero fully playable today. And if you can't tell already, I'm more than just a little bit excited about this. This is absolutely something I have been waiting for since I've been talking about decomps, recomps, and PC ports. Bomberman Hero has a special place in my heart. It's one of those games. I have been playing this basically every year since it came out, and I consider it to be one of the finest examples of 3D platforming in N64, with one of the greatest video game soundtracks ever put to video mediums. And it's just one of those things. I knew this was coming, I knew it was in development, and I was absolutely amped up. And even if honestly I probably played this game like 20-25 times start to finish, I am as excited to play it today on PC as I ever was back in the day. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. Steve Gutenberg and Hightower are members, shouldn't you be too? All jokes aside, I don't even know where the Police Academy jokes come from, but it basically made sense to me, so I'm going to run with it for the video. And honestly, Bomberman Hero is just one of those games, not only as a nostalgia bomb pun very much intended, but just as an experience on N64 in general. I think this was Hudson Soft at their absolute best. And while I love Bomberman 64, also recompiled by Revo Sox, the developer on this one, is a fun time, and Second Attack is great as well. Bomberman Hero just felt like such a fun, experimental, charming, and weird game. It really went to show that people could play around with the overall 3D platforming formula on N64 and make an absolutely iconic game. And it is one of those things, the frame rate could definitely chug on real N64 hardware, and even on Analog 3D or Mr. FPJ with overclocking, there would still be some slowdown. This is going to run at a consistent frame rate. You can do it in widescreen or even ultra wide. And considering Bomberman Hero is a 10 out of 10, getting extra pixels brings it up to a 69 out of 10 any day of the week and twice on Sundays. And even though there aren't any texture packs as of the recording of this video, at least that I could find, it is fully moddable and people can create new textures, mod the game, add in new content, and basically just create whatever they want with Bomberman Hero. And that again is absolutely amazing, about as amazing as the crisp, cool taste of a cold Miller High Life on a hot day. All jokes aside, Miller Brewing Company, if you're listening, be the first beer company to sponsor a retro gaming video channel. I talk about you guys enough for free, you may as well start contributing. All jokes aside, this is just a very fun day for me, so of course I'm going to get a little bit weird with it, because the more stoked I am on the project, the more jokes I actually make, just to have a fun time. The reality is, this game again just holds such a special place in my heart, and we all have that game. So leave me a comment down below and you tell me what's the game that carries the most nostalgia for you. I would be curious. Now getting into the actual recomp here, as far as Bomberman Hero is concerned, this game works 100% from start to finish, and there is absolutely basically no bugs outside of one missing model at the end of the level. When Bomberman jumps up and said, "I did it," he is not actually appearing on screen. My guess is he's off in the stage left, off screen having a Miller High Life, because this is hard work, and a Bomberman definitely deserves a beer at the end of a long level, because he is a hero after all. So as we move into here, this is basically where he would go missing. But other than that, I can't point to a single other bug or issue with this build that would make me say that it's not as enjoyable to play, if not way more so, than the N64 original. The latency in the controls is perfect, all the graphics seem to be drawing exactly as you would expect, and because it is such a colorful, charming world with these toy-like aesthetics, it's just absolutely stunning on my screen. Let's go into the first of two soundtrack samples that I'll say right now. I own the vinyl for this soundtrack, and I consider, honestly, no jokes, to be one of the best soundtracks ever put to a video game. There's just something so experimental and fun about it. It's one of those things I could listen to without even playing the game. So go ahead and listen, and I'll be right back with a lot more Bomberman Hero. mean, Revo Sex did it for sure, and that is the one instance in which I can point to and say that it definitely needs to be patched up because Bomberman should be on screen there and he's not. And honestly, between all the different robot buddies you have in this game and the overall visual charm and colorways on display, there's just absolutely something so unique and so endearing about Bomberman Hero. It is a game that I basically try to convince everyone to play, and now if you've never taken a look at it, you can just sit down and play on PC. And because it has all of these poppy colors with some pastels mixed in, I played this basically for 3 hours last night on my 4K OLED and LG C4, and it looked absolutely stunning, and it is now my favorite way to play one of my favorite games of all time. And honestly, I love how the vibes change up in this game. Every single level is new and unique, and you have to wonder what the design brief was at the Hudson Soft offices, because it's basically one of those things. They wanted an instantaneously recognizable hero in an instantaneously recognizable genre, but they wanted to be different enough that it felt unique and completely different than everything else on the market. It was basically the Ballantine XXX ale of video games, and Pabst Brewing Company, why did you have to take that away from me in 2015? You ruined my dreams versus Revo Sucks, who made my dreams come true with a Bomberman Hero static recomp. And honestly, the performances here is every bit as what you need it to be. Bomberman moves exactly how he would move on the N64 version, and he definitely has a weight and momentum to him that basically feels very unique in the world of platformers. And as we go into another cutscene here, this is one of my favorite parts of Bomberman Hero, and it is replicated absolutely perfectly in this static recomp as far as the pacing and tone are concerned. This game just has so much storytelling and so much charm in it. Every single time I watch every single cutscene that I play this game, I do not want to miss a second of Bomberman Hero, and now again, having a new way to play it absolutely is amazing. As I love to say on the channel, this is why retro gaming is making a comeback, and the reality is a lot of people younger than us are looking back towards retro gaming to find new games to play because the overall current console gen situation, a lot of the games just seem to be boring them. So when they go on the internet and they look up a best N64 game list of all time sort of deal, and they see something like Bomberman Hero, if they play it via emulation or even go out and buy a cart, they might be a little bit bummed out because they weren't there when, 20 frames a second was considered fast enough to enjoy a game. But if they find out that there's a way to play it on PC and they see it in widescreen, they see it in 60 frames per second, it basically just looks like a modern game with a retro aesthetic. And that really is the thing about Bomberman Hero. It is aged like a fine high life champagne bottle when they used to make those at Christmas in the 750 milliliter versions. This is just something. The gameplay is intact, the fun is here, and as far as 3D platformers are concerned, it basically feels like a modern fresh game in all the best ways with just a retro aesthetic now. And when you add in a fact that again, the soundtrack basically feels like something that could have won a Grammy if it was released as an experimental jazz soundtrack and not a video game soundtrack, and you just have a recipe for one of the best things to happen in 2026 if your name happens to be Video Game Esoterica. And that is my very cheap and lazy lead into the second soundtrack sample, so listen, and I'll be right back with a lot more. And I really do mean that when I said if this thing was actually made by a musician as an experimental jazz album, someone with a name behind them, I really do think you'd end up in a scenario in which this thing could absolutely at least be nominated for a Grammy. The music is just straight up perfection, as is the rest of everything else. And I totally get it, this is something that I am 100% insanely biased towards, because as long as I've had a channel, I have said three things. The Neo Geo AES is one of the best 2D consoles ever made, Bomberman Hero is my favorite nostalgic video game of all time, and Miller High Life has no rival when it comes to the beer landscape. And honestly, just like when they invented penicillin, this recomp is absolutely going to change the world, at least my world. And as we go through the jet stage here, what I really love about Bomberman Hero is just how much it mixes up the gameplay. Sometimes you're playing a 3D platformer in open world areas, sometimes you're playing a 3D platformer that has more of a 2D scale to it, and sometimes you're basically playing a 3D shmup where an alien spaceship is going to come down and try to attack Bomberman. The reality is, Bomberman has been on so many adventures at this point in time, I'm sure nothing really phases him. A UFO flies in, he blows it up with some bombs, just moves on with his day. And that's probably why in Super Bomberman R, when he says, "I did it" at the end of every level, he sounds insanely defeated and exhausted because he's been going on these campaigns since basically the late 80s, and I have not gotten bored with any of them. And honestly, on the whole N64 decomp, recomp, and PC port front, this is definitely the one that I've been waiting for. No, it's not a Conker's Bad Fur Day PC port or a GoldenEye PC port. That would definitely be way more popular with a lot more people out there, but sometimes you just have to appreciate the fact that a developer gives us a gift that maybe you didn't know you needed, but now that you have it, you're going to super appreciate it. And honestly, once we get Second Attack, we're going to have the whole run of 3D Bomberman games released on N64 on our PCs. But don't forget, there is a Japanese exclusive 2D Bomberman game as well on N64, and I feel like basically no one ever remembers that one. But again, Bomberman Hero is just one of those games. If you've never played it before, you have to check it out and experience it. And if you don't like it, honestly, the only thing you lost is time, because of course, none of these recomps cost any money. And if you want to play this one, the link is in the description below, so you can go ahead down there and go over to GitHub, grab it, and then bring your definitely legally owned ROM to the party. At least for me personally, I own both the PAL, North American, and Japanese versions of all 3 Bomberman games on N64. Why did I do that? Because I am foolish, and honestly, when I purchased them, they were all like $10 back in the day, because this was just not a game that held its value very well until recently. But like I said, this is just a gift to me, and honestly, all of these decomps, recomps, and PC ports are absolutely changing the retro gaming landscape in 2026. And I feel like by 2030, and hopefully I'm still doing this channel, I have no plans on stopping, you're probably going to see near to the entirety of the N64 library playable on PC in 16:9 widescreen at 60 frames per second or better, with a ton of mods and other features. And that is absolutely a reality I want to live in. And not since a man was brought into a cave and came out alive 3 days later and said, "Hey, let's make some Police Academy movies," has the world been so excited about an event. And again, I totally get it. I am just having fun with this one. But when I am very excited about stuff, I usually make some really dumb dad jokes, just so you guys understand exactly how stoked I am about this one. So definitely check Bomberman Hero out. I have definitely played like 80% of it at this point in time. I haven't had any crashes or issues other than Bomberman's model being missing at the end of every level. I'm sure Revo sucks will fix that up quickly. But the day is here. The best N64 game called Bomberman Hero is now available on PC. And hot damn it, that is definitely a win in my book. So I'm going to go crack a high life. I'm going to have a couple of shots of Fernet, maybe even some alert to back it up. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.